two chapters left. The next one is on gratitude and compassion, another great chapter here. And I'm wondering if you could just tell us a little about why gratitude. I mean, a lot of us have heard about this. Why is it so powerful in terms of actually lifting well-being, creating balance? And I'd love maybe if you could weave in a little bit of the RAS, the reticular activating system that we talk about even in the accidental counselor, and dose, those powerful neurochemicals that get released in the brain. I know there's a
Sure.
lot, Mello. Whatever you
That's
want,
all right. Yeah,
pick,
whatever we,
pick whatever you
what,
can, you know?
exactly, whatever we talk about. But first of all, yeah, I was inspired in my travels while I was traveling, and most of my travels were in developing countries,
Yes.
through Africa, and I was living with indigenous people, with the tribes in the Masai Mara or the Dogon people or the Pygmies in Cameroon. So really sort of seeing the smiles on the children's faces and the laughter and the joy from these people that seemingly have nothing money wise and hardly any clothes on their back, but they're smiling and they're laughing and they're grateful for, in Africa, you see a child just pushing a little wheel, a broken wheel with a stick, and they just can do that forever and ever and ever. And they're just happy and they're smiling. So that contagious aspect of their big smiles really touched me quite deep down.
Mm,
And it made me realize the power of gratitude in some ways. And I know many of us in the Western world, we do gratitude practices. We do three things you're grateful for. Sometimes we just do them as a bit of a tick box. We don't really embody them so much, but there is a lot of power in practicing gratitude and compassion. And I personally, I do two gratitude practices. So I start my day with almost like a reverse gratitude practice, actually. It's
mm,
like I look forward to the day ahead. So I actually look at my day ahead instead of saying, oh my God, I've got 3 seminars, plus I've got 2 coaching sessions, and then I've got to do that meeting, and then I've got that, and then I've got to see Rocky, and I've got to talk to him for 2 hours. So I flip that around. I say, I can't wait to look at, can't wait to catch up with Rocky, which is genuine. I can't wait for my session this afternoon. I can't wait. So you reverse engineer, your day ahead. So you look forward to it with gratitude and enthusiasm. So that's how I start my day.
I love
That's
that.
before I even leave my bedroom. So I'm already like looking forward to my day.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then at the end of the day, I do write down 3 things I'm grateful for. So I used to just say it, but I found I was saying the same thing all the time. I'm
Mm,
grateful for my family. I'm grateful for my children. I'm grateful for my wife. I'm grateful for my job. But I wasn't really feeling it so much. So I decided to write them down, and I decided to not do the same thing more than once.
right.
So I couldn't say I'm grateful for my wife every day, because that just wouldn't work, or my children. So
Yeah,
I started to hardwire myself to start looking for more things I was grateful for.
that's the
E-
key.
Yeah, even little things, the smallest thing, like somebody opening a door for you, or someone
Mm,
buying you a coffee, or the barista that smiles at you, and all these sort of things. So that sort of hardwires yourself to look for compassion and kindness and gratitude. And that's what we're talking about, the RAS. So the RAS is the reticular activating system. It's a series of networks and neurons in the brain that it helps us to look for familiarity. So we look for things that are familiar to us. And probably the best way to describe the RAS is, let's say you bought yourself a brand new car, and you bought yourself a little red mini car because they're really cool and not many people have them. And you've got a little red mini convertible, and you start driving around the streets in your little red mini. And then you start, oh, look, there's another one. Oh, there's another little red mini. And then within like 2 months, you're driving your little red mini car everywhere. Oh my God, they're just everywhere. There's little red minis everywhere, because now your RAS, your reticular activating system, is hardwired to recognize that.
mm,
So if you start hardwiring your RAS to look for negativity and stress and all these things, guess what? You notice
right.
more of that. So if we start looking around for compassion and, like I said, the barista that smiles at you in the morning, or someone that comes in and, gives you a nice comment or gives you a little gift, we start hardwiring ourselves to look for more of that. And when we look for more of that, we start noticing more of that, we become more aware of it, and we start releasing, good chemicals through the body.
Mm,
And oxytocin, that's that dose. So the dose is the dopamine, the oxytocin, the serotonin, and the endorphins. So these happy, feel-good chemicals through the body, and a lot of them are released through, gratitude practices. The oxytocin definitely through that feeling and sharing compassion with other people. Giving somebody a hug will release oxytocin.
yeah.
Even petting your pet will release oxytocin. Giving somebody a compliment or receiving a compliment will release oxytocin. That's a great one there. The endorphins, obviously, they're good with movement. So getting
Yep.
that dose of movement every day, getting up in the morning, exercise. Runners know very well. It's called the runner's high. You know, if you're doing vigorous activity, you get that endorphin rush there. You know, sharing laughter and happiness with people. The other one is serotonin. So one of the reasons I get up early in the morning and get outside, get fresh sunlight in the morning and go for a walk, is to get that serotonin production into me. So that first sort of rays of the sun, which will set up my circadian rhythm, so I'll sleep better that night. But also just that sort of nice mood stabilizer. And by the way, those 90-second breath breaks we did before, also a great way to get that serotonin mood stabilizer to stabilize your mood there. So we can release all these feel good chemicals in the day. Dopamine, obviously, by completing your task, by feeling fulfilled, by your self care activities, by doing all of these things, release dopamine. So ask yourself, how I said before, what have I done for me today? That question. If we expanded that, what have I done to give me my daily dose of chemicals? We can start doing these activities to actually make us have feel good chemicals going through the body instead of the cortisol and adrenaline going through our body.
That's a really great framework, Mello. Thank you.